the NFL draft tonight. We got a fully loaded show. Of course, we're going to recap round number 1. We'll talk a lot about Reuben Bain and the Buccaneers. And, of course, we bring back the draft wheel destiny for what did we call it last night? The draft wheel of the Buccaneers draft wheel of destiny is what we called it. And we have the wheel ready to roll for the second and third round. There is currently 12 names on the board for the second round. We are going to spin that coming up at 12:20 this afternoon, and we will figure out who is going to be the round 2 pick for the Buccaneers. But before we get to that, let's talk about the round 1 pick, Reuben Bain Jr. All right, before I share my thoughts, because I got a reason why Jason Licht went this way. Before I get to that, I just want to say I'm very happy that the first round of the draft didn't make me look stupid, because in the broadcasting role, the first round of the draft can make you look really stupid when you start throwing names out there. And you're like, oh, I want this guy at pick 15, and then that guy doesn't even go in the first round. Always got to be careful. That's my biggest fear when we start doing draft coverage. I'm like, just don't name somebody that's not going to go in the first round. The 4 players that I touted, it was kind of funny because 3 of them went literally, they went 14, 15, and 16. You know, we talked a lot about Vega, the guard from Penn State. I thought he could be an option if the Bucs had to go offense. He went 14 to the Ravens. We talked about Kenyon Sadiq. If the Bucs had to go offense, he had to go 16. Our dream pick on Tuesday's show was Reuben Bane, and the Buccaneers got him. The other guy I liked for the Bucs was Jordan Tyson. He went to the Saints. Thought he was just a big receiver that, again, if they had to go offense. The surprise of the draft, and there's a couple, I was surprised how many offensive guys went before the Bucs. And then there it is. Jason Light's on the board. Reuben Bane falls to him. And I'm like, he's going to do this, right? Because we saw the hit piece that came out a couple weeks ago. And I call it a hit piece because that's what it is. It was a hit piece. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't belittle the story and the situation and what happened in that car accident. It is a sad story. General managers knew that story, and they could do what they want with it. There was no charges or anything like that. He didn't get in the car. He wasn't all buzzed up. It was nothing like, like the whole Georgia football team. It wasn't a Georgia football team situation. But Jason Licht, I think, was feeling the heat, and he took a guy with an off-field issue, and it was the right choice. Jason Licht doesn't normally do that. Jason Licht normally plays it safe. High-character guys. Now, I don't know Reuben Bain Jr., so I'm not telling you he's not a high-character guy, but normally, in a typical situation, Jason Licht doesn't even mess around with somebody that has anything off the field in this kind of scenario. Again, no charges, nothing like that, but regardless, usually in those cases, the Buccaneers go, whoa, not for me. And last night, Jason Licht, he took a chance. He went against what he usually does. Reuben Bane falls to him at 15. He's got to make the pick for a couple of reasons. If he doesn't make the pick of Reuben Bain Jr., the fan base would have an absolute implosion today, and rightfully so. Because this team is dying for an edge rusher. You get the guy who is the consensus 3rd overall best edge in the draft fall to you to 15. You have an opportunity to take him. Now, I will say this. When the Bucs were on the board, I was still a little nervous. I'm like, is Jason Licht going to do it, or is he not going to do it? Because if he doesn't do it, everybody just put a railing in front of the Skyway, because we're going to need to block everybody from driving up there. Because that's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen. I thought he was going to pass up, and he didn't. He made the right choice, and overwhelmingly, I think for the first time in a long time, as the Buccaneer fan base can finally go, hey, we got something to be happy about. Because the offseason, it's been not fun. Missed the playoffs. Oh, our coach isn't fired. Oh, my God, Mike Evans is gone. Levante David retires. And then last night, we finally got to rejoice with a little bit of joy in our lives as the Buccaneers took Reuben Bain Jr. at 15. Our dream pick. And by the way, we can thank Tim. He's the one. I said, hey, put him in a picture with a gas mask bong.
Yeah, it was the same picture. It worked. See, Jason Licht knew that we were the ones who put that picture out there, and all the other teams panicked. Love it.
And he was available at 15, and we got him. We got our guy. And what's crazy about it is, again, I don't know if there is another city where every single fan is happy with their draft pick. You'll find somebody in Las Vegas who probably didn't even want Fernando Mendoza, right? There's going to be some Jets fans that didn't want the kid out of Texas Tech. There's going to be, Giants that didn't want Arvell Reese. David Bailey. I don't know why I was drawing a blank on his name. But there will be people in New York that are like, oh, should have went Arvell Reese, not David Bailey. Arizona, probably going to be some fans not happy with Jeremiah Love.
I know a few of them.
Yeah, there's a ton. No one's happy with their draft pick. Not everybody in the fan base will ever be happy with the pick, except for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in round number 1. We are the only fan base. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys, too. I think Dallas Cowboys probably like what they did last night. I don't think anyone's complaining about Caleb Downs at 11. Moving up in front of the Dolphins, who are probably going to take him. You think the Dolphins are happy today with getting Proctor? I mean, we got a Dolphins fan in our building. He wasn't happy. I said, to me, I thought Proctor might not be the offensive tackle you go there, but I had no problem with them going offensive line.
What about Kansas City fans who traded up from 9 to 6 just to get a guy they could have gotten at 9?
Yeah, I thought Mansour Delane was going to be there at 9.
But there was who was it? They probably traded up to get Arvell Reese. That was probably what they wanted to do.
No, I think they needed to replace, because they sent McDuffie to L.A. They needed to replace him. What they needed to do was they were trying to get in front of the Saints, because I think they felt the Saints were going to take Mansour Delane. Plus, he had the LSU ties right there in state. I think they were pretty familiar with him, and I think they were going to go that route, and they knew they had to get in front of the New Orleans Saints, which they did. So there's not a guarantee he would have been there at 9. But the bottom line is we are the fan base. And Dolphins going offensive line makes sense, by the way, because look at their last quarterback. He has been knocked out multiple times and nearly died on the field. Got to protect your quarterbacks. The Rams, they're not happy. We've got the Sean McVay audio. We're going to play that for you on the show today. Plus, I've got audio from Sean McVay from a couple weeks ago that also kind of tells you he was never on board with Ty Simpson.
That was hilarious.
We are the only fan base, I think, where the consensus overall pick was go with Reuben Bain Jr. And Jason Licht knew with Bain on the board at 15, he couldn't pass. There would have been so much outrage. And we talk so much about, Todd Bowles being on the hot seat. I think Jason Licht kind of felt a little bit of pressure going into this draft. He knew that I can't mess this one up. I got to get my coach here, who is on the hot seat, somebody so we can both survive. And even if that guy is not the typical player we typically go after, because he's got something that happened off the field, some drama that we don't like to bring into our locker room usually, we're going to go against what we usually do, and we're going to draft him anyways. And they made the right choice. And the reason I'm so happy about Reuben Bane, and again, we talked about this on Tuesday, why he'd be the perfect fit if he were to fall. We manifested this because this, I think, is going to turn a guy like Yaya Diaby into a double-digit sack guy, which we haven't had in so long. He led the team last year with 7.5. Reuben Bain Jr., he had 9.5 last year. Now, college, NFL, I know it's different. But you just invested in all of those defensive linemen that you've been drafting the last couple of years. You just reinvested in them. It was a home run. This is good for Kalijah Cansey. This is great for Yaya Diaby. You have David Walker coming off of an injury that everybody thinks he's going to be the savior of this defense. I think we're putting the highest expectations on a guy that was in the fourth round last year that will play his rookie year in year number 2. But this helps his development. Chris Braswell, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe this can help there too. But regardless, the defensive line got better. We filled a very big weakness of this football team, and I believe we woke up this morning with a better football team today than we woke up with yesterday. And now we have rounds 2 and rounds 3 tonight, 7 o'clock, I believe, is the time of the draft. I'm excited for that. I think there's one player that could also make everybody happy in round number 2 as well. The same way Reuben Bane was like the Christmas present we all wanted. Nobody's got complaints with that. There's a guy in round 2 that I think everybody would be happy with too, the entire fan base. And we would probably be the only team in the NFL where the fan base is happy with both rounds 1 and 2. Do you know who that player is, Tim?
Jacob Rodriguez.
It's Jacob Rodriguez. Who, by the way, a lot of people, if you follow the GMs on social media, would tell you they should have got him at 15. That's why you got to be careful with your opinions on the draft.
Monday morning quarterback.
Oh, God, if you had Jacob Rodriguez at 15, no matter what, today you look so dumb.
What is this, Vontae Mack, no matter what?
Vontae Mack, no matter what. Who watched Draft Day yesterday? It's such a great, bad movie.
Nick, the one question I have for you is, you're talking about Jason Licht taking a chance because he's going after a player with character concerns, and you're saying that he's feeling the hot seat. I would almost say to you that if he took Akeem Mesidor or Keldrick Falk at 15, had, of course, Ruben Bane been taken off in the first 14 picks, that, I think, would be the signal that he's feeling the hot seat. Do you agree with that, or...
Well, I think Falk, are you saying if Reuben Bane wasn't on the board?
If Reuben Bane wasn't on the board and he still went with Keldrick Falk or Akeem Mesidor rather than Kenyon Sadiq or Vega, I know are there.
I think you could have got away with Mesidor, because he went at 22, so it's not too much. You would have been reaching a little bit, but he was the next edge to go. It was Mesidor after Reuben Bane, so I don't think it was a total reach. Now, Keldrick Falk, he didn't go until pick number 31 because the Titans traded back into round 1 to get him. I was actually surprised he went. I'm not a big Keldrick Falk guy. And then when we had Ian Cummings on from Pro Football Sports Network on whatever day we had him on, and we talked about Keldrick Falk, he's like, he doesn't make any sense for the Buccaneers and their scheme. And so I had already had my doubts on Falk, and then, hearing from somebody who watches more film than all of us say he doesn't really fit the scheme, I never felt Jason Licht was going to go with Falk. I think if, let's say Bane was already gone and let's say Mesidor wasn't on the board, then that's probably when they end up going offense. But it didn't fall like that. We're all happy today. We get Reuben Bane. Now, I will say this, the one thing, and I heard Pat and Aaron say this morning, that they didn't get one call with an upset fan. The one part about sports radio is you kind of like drama, and with that pick, we literally got no drama because everybody's pumped. There's nobody not happy about it. You want to talk about the first round of the NFL draft? We can. 888-388-0957. We're going to spin the wheel here in a minute.